Hi, it's Mike.beliveau, and I'm out here at Duelist Den. And this is going to be just kind of an update video, not a shooting video. And mainly it's because I think some of you want to know, what's coming up next. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to most of you that I try to put a video out every Thursday morning. And for the last couple of years I've been pretty good on that, but it doesn't always happen. And it didn't happen this week, and obviously some people really pay attention to that because I've got a bunch of emails saying, hey, are you okay? Where are you? So here's a scoop in a nutshell. I'm kind of like a farmer at this time of year, which is I have an eye to the sky all the time. I'm very dependent on the weather because I work outside here at Duelist Den, right? And we just got through 2 weeks of awful weather. And it's kind of odd because we really have had a dry year. But we just had 2 weeks where every day was misty, rainy, and we had a couple of days where we had a hurricane, remnants of a hurricane, make it up here that just drenched us. And in between the days when it was raining, we have had really high winds. I wouldn't be able to keep my cameras up. We've had 40-mile-an-hour gusts numerous times in the last couple of weeks in between those fronts that have come through. So I haven't been able to get out here and film. I know a lot of you realize that the next video that was supposed to be in the schedule was the Queen Anne pistol tuned up. And I have not been able to film that yet. Now I'm out here today. I'm obviously, as you can tell by the way I'm dressed, I'm not doing the Queen Anne pistol. I am doing a cap and ball video because I've been getting a lot of feedback lately that says, hey, you've been doing a lot of flintlock stuff, you've been doing a lot of medieval stuff, you haven't done any cap and ball stuff for quite a while. What gives? And that's fair. So I wanted to get a cap and ball video out, and this coming week is when I kind of had it in the rotation. So hopefully I'll get to film the Queen Anne next week, and you'll see that in a week or two after seeing this. Now I've got a lot of flintlock stuff planned, but I have to do some work on it, and that kind of brings me to the other thing, just to let you know why sometimes it's hard for me to get stuff going. And that's because, as I'm sure you realize, I try to dress for the period of whatever I'm covering in my video, right? And obviously not every YouTube host does that, but some of them do. But I think that it adds, to the feel of my videos. It adds to the enjoyment that most of you get to see me come out in period gear. Now, there are other people who do that, but they mostly cover like one period, like maybe 18th century forest frontier, or the cowboy stuff even, or medieval stuff. And there are a couple of good guys doing medieval reenacting explanation videos. I cover about 1,000 years of history, right? And that makes it pretty tough to get all the kit together for stuff that I need, because I make a lot of my gear or modify a lot of the gear I get. Some of it's because I'm obviously a big boy and I gotta make stuff that fits me. Other times I'll buy stuff commercially, and I'm going through this right now, and it comes in, it's just not right, it's inadequate. But it's close enough that I can salvage it without making stuff from scratch, but I've got to do a lot of work on it. So I've been doing a lot of work on my flintlocks lately, which those of you who follow me on Facebook have probably seen. I've done a lot of work tuning up the Queen Anne flintlock, and we'll see how that pans out in a little while. I did a fair amount of work tuning up my Pedersoli Brown Bess, and I think that's where it needs to be now to do some of the stuff I've got planned. And I got a actual 18th century Brown Bess, sort of. I got one of those Nepalese storage Brown Besses from IMA. And, you know, those had parts made in Great Britain, the locks for the most part. Then the barrels were made in India, you know, for the East India Company. And then they went into storage sometime before 1850 up in a palace in Nepal, where they just sat for the last 150 years, rotting away. So all of them at this point have completely destroyed stocks from dry rot. So when you get one, if you want, IMA's master gunsmiths restock them, and you can buy them that way. And as I'll be telling you, don't bother with that unless you have no skills at all with tools. But I got one of those. It's a 1770s era gun. They restocked it, and their master gunsmith, well, he's not a master, let me put it that way. So I actually have a lot of work to do on that gun to get it usable. So you'll see some of that. The lock's in pretty good shape, though I need to tune it. But other stuff is just awful on it. So that's something that a lot of the guys don't have to put up with, and then sometimes that slows me down. So it takes up a lot of shop time between doing this, just like making paper cartridges and doing all that does. So keeps me busy. Now I've had a bunch of people asking me, when am I going to do another sword video? And sword videos, you know, the response from you all has been kind of interesting. Some people really like them. Some people really don't like them, which I understand. Some people don't care for swords, but they do like the history that I do. And I've got to say that for me, delivering that history is as important as telling you what kind of steel and what the dimensions are on the sword, right? I mean, because to me they're a part of history, and how they fit in with that is really the most interesting thing. Now, I've got a sword, which I've had for quite a while, that's an excellent sword. And for those of you who know the medieval sword lingo, it's an oak shot type 14, and quite a good one. And as a sword, I really like it, and I've wanted to do a review of it for a while. But the fact of the matter is that it's really 13th into 14th century, and that's really not a period that I do much with. So I had no 13th century kit at all. And I've had to put together a 13th century kit, and I've put together 13th century armor, and the whole bit. And that has taken quite a while. In fact, I still have a couple of pieces of armor that I've got to finish modifying before that's ready to go. But once that is, then that'll be the next sword video that comes up. And then after that, I'll probably do the Grand Unification sword video. So that's what's going on the sword front. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people think, well, you can just show up in your civvies and give that sword review. And I just don't see it that way. I mean, swords are very much a product of their time. They fit in, they really fit into the whole system of society at the time. I mean, it's like this Type 14 sword. It has a very specific shape. And it has that specific shape for a real important reason that could not or would not have existed before the period that sword was used, and then it didn't exist after that sword stopped being used. There's a very good reason why that sword stops being used pretty abruptly. And I think I can tell you all that, but seeing the kit, seeing the armor of the time, allows you to understand, I think, better why it is what it is. So that's the way I do things, and the why I do them. And, I think you all appreciate it, based on a lot of the comments I get. And therefore, I'll keep doing it. I don't know how many more sword videos I'm going to do after this. We're getting towards the end of my collection of swords. Though I might pick up a couple of other things. And I do have a good Albion sword that, of course, takes them a year to produce. So when that comes in, I'm sure I'll be doing things. But But I'm planning on doing a video on medieval knives, and that'll be coming up. And I may do a Renaissance sword video. It's not like my favorite era, but there is a type of sword from that period, the English backsword, that I really like a lot. And I might do something with that. Of course, I don't have any Renaissance kit, so you know what that means. So anyway, those are things that are on the horizon. So a lot of flintlock and stuff, some cap and ball, and I'm probably going to be revisiting some cartridge arms from the Old West that you guys haven't seen for 5 or 6 years, because I've tried not to repeat myself on a lot of guns unless I was doing something really different with them. All right, which the next cap and ball video you see will probably be on Uberti's copy of the Remington revolving carbine. And typically I wouldn't do one on that because I had done one about 6 years ago. So this is going to have a little bit different twist. I'll be doing it with paper cartridges, which I've not done. But from a lot of the comments I get, you know, people say, hey, I wish you would do XYZ gun. And I'll send them a link to the video I've already done on that gun. So it occurs to me that as new subscribers come on, they don't always go back and watch all the old videos. I mean, there's like 600 of them, right? So, so revisiting some of those guns and then maybe doing a few different things with them, that might be good, particularly for new people, but they're always fun to shoot. So you can expect more of that. And as the winter closes in and the snow flies, and right now it is November, and we're having Indian summer. So it's like 70 degrees right now, unbelievably warm for this time of year. But in a month or so, we might be snowed out of here. Or it could be 2 months. You know, you just never know how the winter's going to go. So there'll be more stuff going on in the shop at that point. And I have a lot of shop work. A lot of shop work to do on guns. So we'll try to keep that interesting. I know, you know, a lot of people get sick of the shop videos and they say, we signed up for shooting, get to shooting. And even in the wintertime, I try to do as much of that as I can. But as the sad facts are, where I live, there's a lot of times where the weather and snow on the ground just keeps me from getting into the places where I shoot. And, or it's just so miserable out, I don't want to. Sorry. I'm 66 years old. I got a right to be comfortable every now and then. So, you know, I'll do the shooting I can in the wintertime, but let's face it, as the winter closes in, you'll see more stuff in the shop. So, the last thing I want to mention is I've not done a whole lot on updating the website lately because I've been too busy actually doing work for videos and doing magazine work. If you've got the November-December issue of Muzzleloader, you'll see that there are 2 articles by me in that. And that kept me pretty busy this fall doing the research. I had to travel to do interviews and go to museums. So that took up a bit of my time, but those articles are quite good. So if you can find Muzzleloader on the stands, go and get it. And hopefully you will enjoy that. But I'm expecting during the winter time, when there's more downtime for me, that I'm going to put a bunch more stuff up on the website and probably design some new t-shirts and, you know, hopefully give you guys something new to play around with during the winter. So that's pretty much the channel update for now. You know, anything you want to see, send me an email, send me a comment on YouTube. My email is Mike.beliveau@hotmail.com. I'll put a link down underneath here as always. So go visit the website, hit us up on Patreon, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you like, you know, seeing old guns like this. This is a cartridge conversion, Richard's cartridge conversion, which I'm not doing a video on right now, by the way. But I'm out here at Duelist Den, and you know, I'm going to be videoing that revolving carbine. But I never liked to just be standing around with an empty gun, because this is out in the woods with no law, and every now and then some sketchy people come by. So when that happens, I like to make sure I've got something else in the holster, whether it's historically correct or just my 1911 underneath my clothes. But so today I'm carrying this Colt around and enjoying that. I'll probably shoot it just for fun. So anyway, that's the update. See you around, and hopefully I'll see you every Thursday with a new shooting video.